about you? So, hey there, there's a lot of people over here. Who we have? Hello from London. I really enjoyed your hate for Gilgamesh in Spanish. I'm expecting the same drama in English. Oh boy, you tuned in to the proper place. Oh, so, hello Aharon, hello Viridis, Claire. Oh, Claire's here. Moraid as always. Hello from Mexico. Hello Conde Fouché. Pedro is here as well. We have, oh hi Nukas, how are you? We have, who else do we have? Kiwi's over here too. Alejandro. Oh, excited for the guild rant. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh, why do I do this again? Right, let's just... So apparently, my anger, it's something that's enjoyable. And I say apparently because, yeah, apparently that is something that's both watching me being angry. It is indeed. Okay, I've always been told that when I am upset or angry, I wouldn't say funny, but at least I am entertaining. Pedro is already teasing me by dropping those nasty comments about how Gilgamesh rocks. Yes, Gilgamesh with the rock attached to his neck, downhill, like for eternity. Yes. How are you guys? How is quarantine treating you? I hope everybody's safe. I hope everybody's doing fine. So I don't know if you checked, I don't know if you get notified by this because you're supposed to follow my channel, but actually I did a highlight, like a highlight playlist just focused on all my teas because I can stop drinking tea. I just love tea. And yeah, we're gonna, for today's tea, which I have over here, this is a lovely mug, a present from one of my friends. If you're watching me, you know who you are. And actually, today's tea is such a mixture that I had to bring, I'm not kidding, I have to bring the package with me because I couldn't remember, I just couldn't remember. I couldn't remember what it was. So it is, and I read, green center tea, black tea, orange zest, yes, orange blossom, jasmine and rose. And this was a present from my best friend. This comes from the south of Spain, from Cordoba. Don't know if you guys know about that place, but it's a lovely city in the south, of which actually a side of my family is from. So yeah, she bought me tea because she knows, she's my best friend and she knows how to get to my heart. It's either food or tea. It is delicious, Viridis. It is indeed delicious. I was a little bit scared that I had left it like brewing for a little bit too long, but not really. Yeah, it tastes fine. Oh, actually, Nukas, you had this like a while ago, but you've had this. So, one more time, before starting anything, I know you're enjoying the lovely sound, the lovely quality of my otherwise very annoying voice in your ears, and this is because I already have Goku here ready. Hey, hello Goku. I have Goku here attached to myself, and this has only been possible thanks to my patrons. Yes, I like that one, hashtag Team Goku. Yes, I am such a big follower of Team Goku. So this has been, as I was saying, this has been possible thanks to my patrons. I would like to give a very special shout out to Aina, Angel and Lucas, who are sponsoring me. Thank you guys, thank you for your support, because this is possible because you are backing me up. So thank you so much. Now, I know what you're all here for. I just know. And I want to talk briefly about something. The point is that I have received messages, like some messages asking me why I was doing another video of Gilgamesh as a character, as an epic character, if I already had one in Spanish. And these people suggested if I couldn't just subtitle it and put captions in it. But then said, you know what? No, because... You know, I mentioned my patrons. Lucas is one of my patrons, and he requested personally that I go mad again and all ranty about good old Gilgamesh. And you know what? He's my patron. He's in charge, and I think currently he's the only English-speaking patron I have. So yeah, here I am. And also, another like a bunch of English-speaking friends wanted to hear me about my opinions on Gilgamesh, because I have them. Not very good ones, but we'll dive into it. We'll get there. Importante. I am wearing my sun god inspired earrings because we talk in mythology, and if we're talking Gilgamesh, we're talking Shamash, god of the burning sun, god of justice, sleeper on the underworld. And yes, you know, Gilgamesh is the king of heroes, supposed to be. Yes, I am queen of earrings, and I bear the sun in my ears right now. These are just so lovely. I'm just gonna make a close up again because I can, because I know you guys like my earrings. My earrings have received a notable amount of comments. There you have them. This is supposed to be the sphere of the sun bathing the earth, and actually this looks a lot like some I think they are carvings, either carvings or paintings that are in like on Egypt. From the Amarna period. I am citing through I'm just going through my memory very quick. Yeah, I think Adon, which is the sun god. If I am mistaken, please somebody correct me now. I think Adon is also represented as a sphere that just bathes humanity with sunlight. And something that caught my attention back in the day when I studied Egyptian art was that those light rays had hands. Team Enkidu. Oh, another. Right, this is going to be tricky because let me tell you something. Although I will be speaking in English, my cursing and my swearing are far more creative in Spanish, and I am very tempted to just. I don't want to be angry. What this Adon says, interesting enough, maybe not. Sun in Hebrew is quite close to the name of Shamash. I mean, they're all Semitic origin languages, so it could be a borrowing from Hebrew to the other one. I mean, from Hebrew to Sumerian to Akkadian. It's possibly from Sumerian, Akkadian. I'm sorry, because Utu is the Sumerian name, Shamash is the Akkadian name. So, Team Umbaba, yes. Hojas del Bosque, yes, it is. So. Today we're going to be talking epic, and not just a regular epic. We're going to be talking about the epic of Gilgamesh. This is one of the most ancient stories we have recorded, like in the history of humanity. This is one of the most ancient epic tales. Some people say that it's the first, but I never want to be that categorizing because we never know. But for certain, it is one of the most ancient stories ever to be written. Written. Yeah, that was my next point. The earliest versions of this tale date back to 2100 before Common Era. The written versions. But actually, we don't know when or where the original tale was created, and we don't know how old it actually is. On the earlier written versions that we have, there is a mixture. You can perceive a mixture between Sumerian and Akkadian names, or of places, of deities. So that kind of syncretism speaks about a story that was mainly transmitted orally through speech, and people used to memorize it and recite it again and again and again. But how could we be sure about when the first one was created? Like we just don't know, and I think it's fascinating. When we talk about Gilgamesh in art, because I didn't bring the pictures last time, sometimes we will find, if you Google it, it's more than possible you find this guy over here. Sorry, that one. Just remember, I have a little bit of dyslexia and the screen doesn't help. So I wanted to tell, because I want to quote my lovely friends from Ad Absurdum, Spain. I am here to destroy myths. This, like these part over here, is not Gilgamesh. It has been called like that, but we have no idea who this is. It's a representation of somebody holding a lion, and what appears, that one over there, that appears to be maybe a weapon, maybe, I don't know, some kind of branch or some kind of sprout from a perhaps sacred plant. We just don't know. This is currently displayed at the Louvre Museum in Paris, and it was part of the decoration of the Assyrian palace of Dur-Sharukin. But we don't know who he is. Like, it's been called... Do you remember when we spoke about mythology, if you were there, and I showed a relief, like a carving in stone that was supposed to be Inanna, but we actually don't know. It's exactly the same as this guy. We don't know who this is. Traditionally, he's been called Gilgamesh because... Let's just look at him for a moment. He's not wearing a crown, so he's not a god. That for certain, we know. But he has a very long beard, which marks experience and wisdom. And also he's dressed quite elegantly, and he's holding a lion. It could be a cub, but also he could be a giant, and it's represented holding a proper, like, oh, the sun, here comes the sun. Yeah, it was cloudy, like, just let me, it was so cloudy this morning, I was so happy. That's much better. So as I was saying, this could be a lion cub, but it could also be a real lion, like a real size lion. And yeah. Oh, someone says you look like Gal Gadot. Goddamn. Oh, stop it, you. So yeah, I just want to point out that this pal, this friend, is not Gilgamesh, because there's a very high chance if you go to Google Images, he will just pop by. As I said before, the Epic of Gilgamesh is written mainly in Akkadian, although there's been later translations, and I don't know much about English translations of the myth, because the ones I normally use, they've been translated either from Akkadian to Spanish. I try to use sources that are straight from the original sources and not just adaptations of other previous translations. But as I was browsing the web, because I had to bring you something, I found the Stephen Mitchell's Epic of Gilgamesh. Appears to be quite decent. I don't know. I've just consulted a few verses, and I'm no expert. I am not a philologist. I definitely don't know how to rate a translation, but these one appear to be very decent. So maybe if you want to read it, sure. Maybe if you want to read it later, this is one that you could purchase. So right. Let's go, without further ado, let's just dive into it. So I have a statement to make, and I said this before, but I will repeat it over and over and over if necessary. If you ever encounter yourself, if you find yourself in the middle of a conversation that is, you know, just about the Epic of Gilgamesh, and someone says the sentence, "Oh, Gilgamesh, such a cool character," let me tell you, they have not, by any means, they have not read the Epic of Gilgamesh. Because Gilgamesh could be a lot of things, but a cool character is not one of them. Definitely not. He's not a cool guy. He's, no, definitely not. And, right, I'm going to be completely blunt and honest with you. I know you're not going to read the poem. I know, just know. And because I don't want you to go through Wikipedia to find a quick, maybe not so nice summary of the epic, I am here to tell you the story and to explain to you how Gilgamesh is possibly, and in my opinion, the worst character ever created in literature. The worst. I don't know if there's an award for this. It should be. I'm gonna start it, and I give Gilgamesh the first prize, because George, he's just a moron. He's just a very big moron. For some reason, I imagine him to be very tall. I don't know if this Louvre statue has influenced my thought. I think I'm gonna just move that one again. Are you okay, son? Oh, is this Shamash? Oh my god, why did I say those things? Bueno, el sol, le soleil. I don't speak French. Reading Gilgamesh, the best plan for quarantine? Not really. I mean, maybe. What's Kiwi says, or maybe there are, I don't know if I don't know if I can say that word. Yeah. Who is Gilgamesh? Who is he, and why is he important? He's the main protagonist, basically. Oh, and also I would like to point out, I despise Gilgamesh as a character. I'm not gonna hide that. And two things need to be clear. The first is that I don't hate the Epic of Gilgamesh. I think the poem's lovely. I like the poem, I enjoy the poem, I enjoy the mythology and the things we can learn from it. I really like all the characters. Among the characters of the Epic of Gilgamesh, there are some of my very all-time favorites. I will point out who they are. And I think it's a great poem, and I think it's fantastic we preserve something that ancient to today. That is mind-blowing. We're talking about more than 4,000 years old, and we still can read it and talk about it. But I don't like Gilgamesh as a character. No, there's no. Right. I was going to say something else and I forgot. Oh yes, everything I'm going to be telling you today, I didn't made up. I just searched for it, I read the sources, I checked the poems and the translations, I consulted more than one version. Nothing is made up. I did not make this up. I just didn't. I'm not seasoning or adding to it. I'm reading things, I'm telling you things as they happen in the poem. Maybe there's a little bit of interpretation, but hey, cut me some slack. Right, so the protagonist, Gilgamesh. What's wrong with him, you may ask? Everything. Absolutely everything. I'm not gonna hold myself back. I said to myself, you know what I said to myself? Do not get angry. Don't be angry at this. Just stay calm. But I just can't. Gilgamesh is the king of the city of Uruk. Once upon a time, in the fertile banks between Tigris and Euphrates River, in a land that nowadays is Iraq, but back in time was called Mesopotamia. In Uruk, there was a king, and he was not a nice king, and he was not a nice guy. He was some sort of cold mother. Okay, let me tell you something. This is a secret. I can swear because Twitch can censor my thing, so I'm just gonna try my best, but I don't think I'm gonna succeed. Just bear with me with that one. So, he is a cold bastard, basically. Gilgamesh, for the sole purpose of his own entertainment, slaughters his own warriors, steals things just because he can, as in, I am walking, I'm strolling down the street of my kingdom, I like that, I don't know, donkey, I'ma take the donkey, I like that garment, I'ma take that garment, I like this and that and this, I'ma take that, you can't do nothing about it. Why? Because I'm the king. I am the king. Oh, I just can't wait to be king. It feels good, right? So, and most importantly, and to me the worst, he is basically a serial rapist. He takes new brides for himself and forces them before the husband or any other member of the family could do anything about it, because again, he's the bloody king. Because duh, you can't. What are you gonna do? What actually are you gonna do? There's nothing you could do. Gilgamesh is a demigod. It's not entirely human. He's 2/3 human because, as many other heroes in epic tales, he has supernatural lineage. He is the son of Ninsum, which is a goddess, and the king Lugalbanda, also from Uruk. But despite the fact that he is 2/3 god and a third mortal, that's what he is. He's still mortal. He is not eternal, he's not immortal, but he wants to live forever. Let's quote Queen for a woman who wants to live forever. Gilgamesh wants, but no, not really. Not today. So what happens is, eventually, people get a little bit fed up with him and with his shenanigans, let's call them like that, and they go and ask help from the gods. And here enters a very nice character, which is goddess Aruru, which is a goddess of mountains and goddess of creations, and with water, with her own speed and some clay, he forms Enkidu. Enkidu, the wild man, the intention behind creating Enkidu is actually that he could get Gilgamesh beaten up, and maybe he won't be that arrogant anymore. Yeah. Yeah, Aruru, you had hopes. We all did. Alright, what is the chat saying? Who you gonna call? Ghostbusters. Gilga is more real than others, more real selfish actions. Yes, I mean, still, it doesn't matter if he's real or not. He's a very bad person, a very real bad person. So Nukas asks, that's where Enkidu comes from. Yes, so Enkidu is Gil's super nanny. Not really. I mean, the gods never wanted Enkidu to babysit Gilgamesh. They wanted Enkidu to beat the crap out of Gilgamesh so he could chill. Spoiler alert. Didn't happen. So I'm gonna tell you the story of Enkidu, which last time I didn't, so here's some new information for you. Enkidu is a wild man, and there's a far better expert on this matter than me. Her name is Lucía Triviño, and her project is called Las Hojas del Bosque, the forest trees. She actually knows a lot more about wild people than I do, but I'm gonna do my best. So, as a wild man, Enkidu lives among the beasts, and one day a hunter catches Enkidu releasing the animals that have fallen into his traps. Enkidu at this point is completely dehumanized. He doesn't know anything about civilization because, again, he lives in the woods. So the hunter goes tell Gilgamesh, and he wants to tame the wild man. So what does he do? How to tame a wild man that's been living in the wilderness for so long? Of course, he sends a prostitute. Yes, because sex tames people. Exactly. Sex not just tames, but humanizes people. Brilliant, like brilliant. Gilgamesh, just bloody brilliant. So yeah, yes, he sends a prostitute to seduce Enkidu, and Enkidu is having fun for 6 days and 7 nights in a row with that person. Like, damn. Oh god, ooh. So basically, after, the stamina, exactly. So basically, after a whole week, dancing very close, and the scent of humanity is now attached to Enkidu's skin, so he stinks. And now his animal pals doesn't want him anymore, they don't accept him. So someone tells Enkidu about Gilgamesh, and this prostitute was he's doing, and he's like, Gilgamesh! So in a full anime style revenging, he goes towards Gilgamesh and stops him apparently in some versions of the poem, he stops Gilgamesh in the very instant he is going to take advantage of another bride, because Gilga is gonna Gil, I suppose. Like, oh Jesus, oh my god, he's just such a bad person. Well, anyway, I'm off topic. So yeah, basically they face each other, and they're like, hey you, I challenge you, I'm strong. And the other's like, haha, no way, I am stronger than you, I'ma beat you. And Enkidu's like, yeah, fight me. And Gilgamesh is like, yeah, I'll fight you. So they spend several days, they engage in a wrestle, and they spend several days fighting together, like beating the crap out of each other, like, and everybody's gathered around to see, and no one understands what's going on, but hey, I mean, there's a public fight and it's free to watch, so yeah, pass me the popcorn. And finally, like eventually, because they cannot beat each other, although some versions say that Gilgamesh wins, but he recognizes the massive strength Enkidu has, so they call it even. And instantly, when I say instantly, I mean, like, instantly they become best friends. Because healthy masculinity, I guess. Jesus. Oh, Hazel Bemmy. Hello, Hazel Bemmy. Bromance. Yes, bromance. So I'm not going to actually touch upon that much, but it's been clearly suggested that Gilgamesh and Enkidu had a thing for each other. Something that was a little bit more than friendship, if you know what I'm saying. We cannot prove it, we could just guess, but yeah, I mean, I'm shipping them. I'm not shipping them, they're disgusting, but you know what I mean, like it could be entirely possible. I want that to happen. So now, so now we come to the great achievement of Enkidu and Gilgamesh. Just let me take a moment to breathe, because we're entering the part about the cedar forest and almighty powerful Umbaba. Right, I don't want to get ahead of myself, like, ooh, right, so Gilgamesh and Enkidu live in Uruk. Because Gilgamesh is a king, so he needs to do royal stuff. Like, he's a king. He needs to do stuff. But Enkidu, he's been living in the wilderness for so long, is bored. Enkidu is bored. Stay with me here for a second. Enkidu's bored. That's what happens to Enkidu. It just, okay, that is important. Enkidu is bored, so Gilgamesh wants to make his best pal happy. He doesn't like him being bored, so he suggests, hey, dude, you know what will be right? Gilgamesh goes to Enkidu and says, hey dude, do you know what will be like the best idea ever? Like, do you know what would be cool? What if we set off to the cedar wood forest that is close to the sacred mountains where the gods dwell? And, listen carefully, and what if we slay Umbaba, guardian of the cedar woods and guardian of the border between life and death? What you say, Enkidu? Eh? 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 Oh, I can't. So basically, to kill time, apparently, because they're both bored, they really believe the best idea is just to walk towards the most sacred place on earth and brutally murder the guardian of the border between life and death, who is doing nothing but his job. He's described as a terrible monster, but hey, if you guarding the frontier between alive and dead, you need to be terrifying. If not, people are gonna take confidence and I'm gonna just give you some shit. No, it's just like, no. Oh, no. 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 And again, it's because Enkidu's bored. And because Gilgamesh wants to just bring more glory upon his name, because let's remember, he's just a pain in the ass because he's not a god, he's not immortal, therefore he's pissed. And the whole humanity, and the whole creation, not just humanity, should pay because he's not immortal. I just seriously can't. So they go to the cedar forest where Humbaba dwells, and again, he's doing nothing but his job. He's just there. And when they enter the trees, when they actually enter the trees, they start chopping them. They start cutting down the cedar trees, which is like the most sacred tree ever in Mesopotamia. So they start chopping them off, like just to anger Umbaba so it will come out. And Umbaba does. Umbaba comes out in full rage, like, what are you doing? And at this point, listen fam, it's not that big of a deal. Listen carefully, it is a big deal for me. Gilgamesh is just an asshole. I said it. This needs to be recalled. So basically, when Enkidu sees Umbaba, how to say this? Enkidu is not convinced anymore. Enkidu is scared. Enkidu is like, whoa, no. We need to do this. Like, we definitely need to think this twice. We need to think this straight. This is not a good idea. And then Enkidu tries to persuade Gilgamesh to just abandon the whole thing. It's not worth it anymore. Forget it. But Gilgamesh persists and says, no, we came here for a reason and we're gonna finish what we started. So they engage in a brutal fight with Umbaba, and I actually have a representation of that. This is supposed to be one of the depictions of Gilgamesh fighting Umbaba alongside with Enkidu. So they fight Umbaba for so long, and here is what it's called, like, this is the point. Umbaba is a supernatural creature, so they cannot defeat him. And then Gilgamesh calls upon Shamash, which is the sun god, which is the sun god, and Gilgamesh asks him for aid. And Shamash does. Shamash blows his sacred winds towards him, and that is how Enkidu and Gilgamesh can bring Umbaba to his knees and just kind of like holding against the ground. And then Umbaba, foreseeing the disaster, tries to speak to Gilgamesh and like, look, you really don't want to do this. This is going to be so bad for you. Please reconsider. Gilgamesh, stop. But Enkidu is like, nah, dude, bollocks. And he goes over for like Mortal Kombat. Shout out to my Mortal Kombat fans over there. And Enkidu is like, finish him. So Umbaba at that point is so pissed at Enkidu's blabbery that he curses Enkidu and he says, you will bite the dust before Gilgamesh does, you annoying creature. And Gilgamesh gets so upset about this, like, hey, nobody touches my bestie, and then chops Umbaba's head.
Fatality.
Like completely, like, psh, he chops Umbaba's head and Umbaba is completely dead. Umbaba's gone. Just because Umbaba's gone. That's it. But, this doesn't end here. If it's bad enough that they just killed remember, Enkidu was bored and Gilgamesh wanted to entertain his best friend. Because killing things mends a broken heart, and that is a quote from Merlin. So when they're done with the killing and the slaughtering, Gilgamesh is like, hey, you know what? I don't fancy walking anymore. I don't feel like walking. What if we chop down more and more and more trees so we can build a raft, so we can go back to Uruk? They just came from there walking. They could walk back, but no, they were tired, so they need to just destroy completely the cedar woods because they are tired. So with the raft mate, I cannot stress enough how important the cedar tree is for Mesopotamian tradition. When I say sacred tree, I mean sacred tree. And they chop them to build a raft, to put Umbaba's head on top of the raft and sail back to Uruk because it's gonna be faster and because they don't fancy walking anymore. Like, no, it's like, no. Right, in ancient epics, chopping down sacred trees is considered to be one of the biggest offenses to gods ever. Like, it's not good. There's just no way to get around with it. It's just bad. It's terrible. What they did is so terrible. You have no idea. Like, it's just, oh. Yeah. And remember, this is the last time I'm going to say this because we're going to move to another part of the poem. They do this because Enkidu was bored. Gilgamesh wanted some fame to his self, and they just wanted to be entertained a little bit more. And killing Umbaba, again, guardian of the border between life and death, helped them. This helped them, like, truthfully, with the boredom. Moving on. So they go back to Uruk finally, and there's a lot of blood and a lot of, like, 3 blood to wash from him, and Gilgamesh takes a bath, and I can't. Like, long live the forest of cedars, long live to the cedar woods. Yeah, always in our heart. They go back to Uruk, and Gilgamesh is already, like, clean in his king garments and stuff. And then we have the episode where Gilgamesh finds Ishtar, or Inanna, which is the goddess of love, of war, of sex, and also is linked to planet Venus, which is the evening star. So basically, apparently women are seduced by brutality and the lack of brain. So Ishtar is portrayed as she's all over Gilgamesh. She's completely in love. We don't know how or why, but now she's in love. So she approaches Gilgamesh and she's like, "Hey, call me maybe." And she asks him to marry him. She asks him to be his lover, like, consistently. But actually, that part of the poem is quite porn. Like, they talk about I would say they talk about, like, the Ishtar ask Gilgamesh to give him the fruit of his harvesting. It's a really fun part to read. So yeah, I'm not gonna read because censorship, but it's quite fun. Gilgamesh, this is the hypocrisy of this. Gilgamesh says to Ishtar that he's not gonna, like, no Gilgamesh booty for you, Queen of Heavens, because he knows she is not a good person and that she collects toy boys to play with, and she's not really in love with him. So it's like, Gilgamesh is too cool for Ishtar, which is the goddess of love and sex, is offering to you willingly, and you say no because you're just not good enough for you. So Ishtar is quite pissed because she's been rejected, because clearly women, first of all, we are attracted to brutalness, and second of all, when we are rejected, we can't stand it. We do not take rejection very well. We just go all over the place. So Ishtar asked the Bull of Heavens, which is another almighty, powerful heavenly creature, to come back to Earth and to fight Gilgamesh and Enkidu. And sadly, after a very tough fight, Gilgamesh and Enkidu slaughter the Bull of Heavens, because up to this point you've really realized killing mythological beings is one of the hobbies, and they're very good at it. And yeah, in the middle of that craziness and that nastiness, because there's a very big dead bull in front of them, Enkidu starts laughing, like he boasts in laughter, and he just chops a piece of the dead bull and throws it to Ishtar on the face, and all the blood splashes Ishtar. Moron! What are you doing? Enkidu, please. Can you have, like, picture this in your mind for me? Enkidu just hysterically laughing at a goddess, just grabbing a piece of dead bloody meat of an animal that seconds ago belonged to that goddess, and it's like, toss it into her face, sorry. So as you can imagine, yes, Lucas, no manners at all. As you can imagine, Ishtar is that pissed? Like, dude, she mad? So with like all the boiling rage in herself, she curses Enkidu. And Enkidu is sick, like in agony and in pain for 12 days in a row. And finally, Enkidu dies.
Fatality.
Because if there's one thing you can take for granted, is that there's no messing with the gods that goes unpunished. So Enkidu's dead. And Gilgamesh finds himself in a world without his best pal that's dead, because he insisted on rejecting Ishtar and because he insisted on killing Umbaba, and so, and so, and so. I can relate to Ishtar. Someone throwing dead meat to your face is a pretty normal thing. It happens every day. How do you establish relationships with people? I don't throw dead meat to my friends. Maybe I should start. I am a teacher, so that means you throw pieces of bloody meat to your students to establish dominion, or maybe to start a friendship. This is how you greet every time you say like. Oh God! I'm not making this up. This is in the poem. Secondary school teacher, they threw to me like, no. Oh no. So let's move on to a little bit. We said Enkidu's dead. And Gilgamesh is like, no, oh, my poor friend, and they're weepy and heartbroken. But then it's like, wait, am I gonna die too? I mean, he mourns Enkidu and all that jazz, but he is suddenly aware, again, he's 2/3 of a god, 1/3 of a mortal. They kick in, and he realizes he could die too. He's like aware of his own mortality. And he's like, no, not buying that. I am going to be immortal. So he sets off to find Utnapishtim, which is a character that he's human, but the gods bestowed immortality upon him. We'll get to that in a second. On his journey, Gilgamesh fights a myriad of monsters, kills all of them, of course, like, and at some point he encounters Siduri. Siduri is a goddess that all my pals that have been talking about Mesopotamian gods with me know already of her. Siduri is the goddess of beer and wisdom, which are two concepts that, in my opinion, they belong together. So, like, somehow. So Siduri is something like Gilgamesh's auntie. Yeah, because she's somehow sister of his mum. So yeah, it's an auntie. And Siduri sits with Gilgamesh, offers him some beer, and she tries to convince him to give up on this quest for immortality, telling him that the life pleasures are others and it's nice to be immortal and there's a lot of things he can enjoy. But Gilgamesh, nah, boy's made up his mind, and he thanks her auntie for the beer, but he's decided, like, he knows he's gonna get immortality, and he didn't want to give up his pursuit towards eternity. So Siduri is like, all right, and then Siduri, thank you for the hosting, Ricardeone. Thank you so much for the hosting. I still need to find out what exactly that is, but thank you. I know people think of that, and I'm not gonna be less. Thank you so much for the hosting. So where was I? Siduri. Siduri tells Gilgamesh that in order to find Utnapishtim, which is an immortal character we just talked about, he needs to cross some lethal waters, like killing waters, with the boatman Urshanabi. So Gilgamesh goes find him, and when he finds Urshanabi, goes from behind, like sneaks from his back, and Gilgamesh bashes the poor fella in the head with, pay attention, the utensils required to cross the killing river. And of course, because of the strength Gilgamesh has, he breaks the utensils to pieces. Because he is an idiot. God. No. Oh, so much judging over here. So much judging over here. Oh, God. So, after bashing Urshanabe with his own utensils, now the idiot doesn't have a way of crossing the lethal waters. So, he has to chop down more trees to make panting poles to cross the river. And of course, he cuts more and more sacred trees because we came to party. Oh, this is a disaster. Like, no. Oh, I have the tools to cross the river. Yeah, let's break them. Yes, on the boatsman's head. Like, on the head of the only person that can get you actually across the river. What could possibly go wrong? Oh, can you see? Can you see? Can you see? All right, no. There's more, but wait, there's more. Finally, Urshanabe explains Gilgamesh how to use the poles, and for sure, I really think for sure he's scared that Gilgamesh is gonna break something else in his head. So he's like, no, I'm gonna get you the instructions. This is what you get to do. Who's here for the chaos? Gilgamesh is here for the chaos. So after crossing the lethal waters and passing to the other side, Gilgamesh needs to walk after like an eternity of walking, surrounded with darkness, with no sleep, with no rest. This is important. I'm gonna say it again. He just walks and walks and walks for days, for such a long time, no stopping for resting, no stopping for sleeping. And in the end, he finds Utnapishtim. Hooray! Right? Wrong. Incorrect. Utnapishtim, however, it's not a happy bunny. Utnapishtim's not pleased to see Gilgamesh, and he roasts him. Boy, Utnapishtim roasts Gilgamesh savagely. Like, what have you accomplished in your life? Like, what have you done? You only kill and grieve and mourn. You've done nothing for your people. You're just a bad person. Blah 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 blah. Like, go away, go away, go away. I don't want to talk to you. But Gilgamesh, if we learn something about Gilgamesh for this point, is that he is an insistent fella. So Gilgamesh sits around and is like, no, I'm not gonna leave because I want you to tell me the secret to be immortal, because you are immortal. So tell me, is this possible? Tell me how. Utnapishtim tells him his own story, and we're gonna go over that very quickly. Turns out Utnapishtim was human, but a flood was gonna be sent. Like the god of heavens, which is An or Anu, depending on the source, was so angry at humanity because they were being loud and annoying that he sent a massive flood to kill them all. But Enki, the trickster, designated Utnapishtim to save part of humanity and take the remnants of humankind and also some animals and some grain to a safe place. So Utnapishtim built a very big boat, and they were saved. And because of all the troubles they had to go through in the ordeal that was saving mankind from a massive flood that just destroyed completely the earth, the gods granted him and his wife immortality. Does it sound familiar? Again, wink wink, Noah's Ark, wink wink. So Utnapishtim finishes his tale saying how annoyed he is and how inconvenient is being immortal and blah blah blah. But Gilgamesh is like, dude, so immortality can be achieved? And he's like, tell me how. Utnapishtim tries to dissuade him, like, no, you don't understand. Immortality is not something that you want. It's like, no, you don't want it. And Gilgamesh is like, tell me how. And Utnapishtim is like, you don't want it. And Gilgamesh is like, tell me how. How do I do it? So Utnapishtim is like, okay, fine. You know what? If you want it so badly, just go. You need, however, to conquer a trial. Yeah, you need to achieve something. And Gilgamesh is like, yeah, hit me with your best shot. What do you have for me? And what Utnapishtim says is like, all right, you need to stay awake for 6 days and 7 nights in a row. That's what you have to do. Just don't fall asleep. And Gilgamesh is like, say what? He snorts, like, easy peasy lemon squeezy, I can do this. Not with my eyes closed, because I'm a bit awake, but yeah, no biggie. Immortality, here I come. Remember, Gilgamesh had to walk for several days in a row without resting, without stopping, because he wanted to find Utnapishtim. So he plops down on a rock and the moment his bum touches the rock, the moment he sits, he instantly falls asleep. And I whoop. Yeah. Oh god. So yeah, he had, like, Gilgamesh, you had one job, and you blew it. But with his insistence, Gilgamesh asks Utnapishtim for a second chance, and Utnapishtim is like, alright, fine, if I tell you how to achieve immortality, would you leave me be? And Gilgamesh is like an excited puppy, like, yes. So, Utnapishtim tells Gilgamesh about a plant. There is a plant, like a camel thorn, that grows in the very depths of a very, very deep lake, like underwater. If you get it, it will grant you great rejuvenation, and it's possible that you never die. And Gilgamesh is up for it. It's like, yes, I'm gonna do it. I am gonna do it. So he goes to the place. He uses some rocks to sink, and the place is like deep. You need to imagine something like the depths of the ocean is very, very, very deep. He almost dies in the process, but hey, he gets the plant, just grabs a sprout of the plant and comes back up, and he comes out of the lake with the immortal plant in his hand. He's got it. The root that grants immortality. He's done. He has it. Yeah. Do you think Gilgamesh will become immortal finally? Do you think he will return home and be the first human to beat death forever? Exactly. No, he doesn't. So this is what happened. Gilgamesh is returning home, full of himself, victorious, glorious. He's even glowing under the sun. He has this like boop, 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 boop. He's golden flaming with self-confidence. But he thinks, like, he stops. Uruk is already at sight. Like, he can see Uruk. He can see it. It's there. It's like so close. But he looks at himself and thinks, might be a bit filthy. You know, all these trials, all this bashing boatmen's instrument into boatmen's heads, drinking beer with goddesses, killing a ridiculous amount of supernatural beings. Yeah, I'm kind of dirty. You know what? I need a bath. So, maybe more lighting for this romantic moment. So Gilgamesh stops to take a bath and leaves the plant unattended. There comes a snake that gets the plant and either, depending on the version, disappears with it or directly eats the plant. So Gilgamesh comes out of his bath just to realize the root of immortality is gone. And then he sits and weeps. Bravo! Bravo! You had one job, Gilgamesh. One job. One. Ah! You blew it. Jesus, like I can't. I usually can't. Like after all this, I present to you my clues. This is my argument. This is what supports my all-time defense that Gilgamesh is the worst character ever created. Of course, the poem doesn't stop there. The poem goes on about how Gilgamesh kind of has an epiphany at that moment, and how realizing of his own, like coming to terms with his own mortality, makes him a better person, and how, like, in the end, all the inventors conjoined make him a better guy, a better king, and how they show him he might not live an eternal life, but he could do some good with the life he's granted. And then, 4,000 years after the first written version of the poem of Gilgamesh, we have this bastard. Let me tell you, if there is a character that is definitely close to its original, is this guy from Fate Stay Night. May I present to you Gilgamesh, the king of heroes. Oh, like he is a pain. He's unbearable. Look at his face. I just want to slap him so strongly that his own head will just spin in circles. I can't with this guy. I seriously can't. I can't with Gilgamesh. But this, there was no need for another Gilgamesh. Yet Japan thought, hey, you know what would be cool? Let's do an anime and let's just bring Gilgamesh back because he is a character that is worth of having a reinterpretation. No! Lucas says Fate Gil is an ass. Yes. And that is my point to say that he is exactly and perfectly portrayed as the original would have been. So basically, Fate Stay Night is a series of video games, visual novels, and then animation series. And the plot is basically surrounds a teenager who unwillingly enters to the death tournament that is called the Holy Grail War, and apparently it's recurrent, and the combatants fight with some magic, and they can summon some heroes throughout history, and maybe if they win they could have their wishes granted. So there is where Gilgamesh appears. I'm not going to tell you much of the story because I myself haven't completed watching this series yet, but Gilgamesh is basically an asshole. Like, it's just like, I remember in one of the episodes he laughs at something, they're doing something that, of course, because it's a tournament, requires of some rules, and he just snorts other people that tell him, you can't do that, this is not in the rules, and Gilgamesh says, I am the rules. And yeah, bloody he is, like, definitely. And as I was reading, Gilgamesh has a summoning thing, which is a snake skin, because this is a remnant of the snake who ate the plant that didn't grant him immortality in the end, because remember, he was an idiot who thought he had to have a bath. Like, he didn't have any bathtubs back in his palace in Uruk. This is how he lost immortality forever. Like, I just can't with this guy, I can't with this guy. It's just, look how paid of himself he is. Like, no, he's just like, he is a bad character. He is selfish, he is a bad person, he's mean, and yeah, it's a perfect representation and a perfect adaptation of what original Gilgamesh was portrayed in the poem. So I ask you, do you really think that after going through all the adventures and after going through so many things, do you really think Gilgamesh is a cool character? Bloody hell no! Like, Gilgamesh is a lot of things. A cool character is not one of them. Again, the epic is wonderful, the epic is magnificent, and we can draw so many interesting things about ancient Mesopotamia from it. But a nice character? Like, seriously? Leaked Wisdom says, to be fair to Gilgamesh, he was high on ketamine and he did think it was a Pokemon tournament. He was entering the day. Are you referring to Fate? Fate Gilgamesh? Although I think that statement could be applied to ancient epic Gilgamesh. Like, so... Oh, tranquila Laurita intensifies. Yes, tranquila Laurita. Ooh. Oh. He's the biggest bastard in the land. I don't care if he's a better... Like, do you see what it takes for him to redeem himself and to become a better person? Getting his best friend killed, killing 2 almighty mythological creatures, just eradicating from existence many sacred trees, joking at the gods, just offending the gods, bashing poor boatsmen that were just calmly doing her job. That is the thing. Creation is there, doing the thing, and Gilgamesh constantly disrupts it. It's just like he goes there and destroys everything just for the sake of destruction. Oh, so much judging in Spanish. I cannot insert a gif, but the judgment in Spanish, yeah. Leak Wisdom says, epic ancient Gilgamesh and his Nintendo habits. He was an idiot. Yes, he was. I'm very happy you agree with me. I've never heard the epic of Gilgamesh told in quite such an entertaining way. Thank you so much. That is such a big compliment that I am taking. Thank you. Crossover between Tony Robinson and Rick Mail. I am afraid that my limited knowledge doesn't know those people, but make sure I'm gonna Google it. Jesus! Ah! This is me drinking in disbelief. I have my lemons to help me. Have you seen my lemons? I want my lemons. Right, so I think I explained my point kind of perfectly. And yes, I think the Epic of Gilgamesh is fantastic, but I think Gilgamesh is an idiot and is the worst character ever created. Thank you so much for joining me on this stream. Totally compliment. I would like the rest of Ancient History Tales. I'll get hot chocolate for everybody. That is such a nice thing. If you like me telling you, like, or me going through the epic tales, let me know, and maybe we can turn this into a month section. Or yeah, if you have any request, you can follow me on my social media. The project has, yeah, like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram quite recently. So again, thank you so much for tuning in. I want one more time. Thank you. I'm really happy you loved it. One more time, I want to thank my patrons for backing me up and allowing me to buy Goku over here. We have it. Use Goku, say hello. Yeah, I just love doing demon voices. Yeah, if there's people that know me out of my project here, they can confirm that. Thank you so much. Thanks to my patrons that make this possible. Thanks to Aina, Angel, and Lucas. Thank you so much. This was so entertaining. I am boiling inside right now. Like, I am just filled up with rage, like the biggest. the biggest rage you can find because I hate Gilgamesh so much. Like, it's just this, there's no way of describing this. But I enjoy, apparently you guys enjoy my rage, and if I can use my rage to entertain you and make these times easier for you, I am up for that. If you want to tune in for the next live stream, it's going to be on Friday, but that one's going to be in Spanish. I didn't say this. Let's go through this very quickly. I have, thanks to my all-time favorite person, Bob. Thanks to Bob, we already have established schedule. Monday 6 p.m. UK time is going to be a live stream in English. Friday 6 p.m. UK time is going to be a live stream in Spanish. You can join both. You can just stick like you're a natural dungeon master. In fact, I am a dungeon master. If you want to tune in on Friday, that is going to be in Spanish, and I am quite excited about the things we're going to bring you on Friday. But if not, I will see you on Monday for another live stream. And yeah, Goku and I just need to show you Goku because I think a lot of people hasn't seen it. This is Goku. Thank you. Thank you so much, guys. I will see you next time.